Welcome, travelers, to another episode of the Time Travel Trio podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Hyde.
And we're
The Time Travel Trio.
Ooh, a little reverberation.
It's like an echo. So before we even start on Hyde's Choice today, we posted something on Twitter to try and get some more reviews. We want to play a fun little game of, if you write us a review, we will make up a short time travel story about you. So we're going to do one for our most recent review, which is from L. Luther. And I don't know, we're just kind of spitballing.
We need to have a character, right?
Yeah, he's a character.
Is it maybe it's the brother of Luther from the show.
Oh, that could be
like
it.
His brother. So he's not Luther, he's L. Luther.
He's L. Luther, Little Luther.
Little Luther.
Little Luther.
Uh-oh.
And his time loop.
And his, Little Luther's time loop.
So what would his job be? Would he go the opposite of Luther? Would he be like a florist or like a...
Yeah, he'd have to be.
Okay.
He'd have to be like a florist or, maybe a botanist, maybe a scientific botanist. He's like... angry, like, in a world where there's no flowers or trees.
And he finds a way to...
Where does oxygen come from?
He finds a way to grow his plants.
Sure.
Like, when he needs them, he sends the seeds back in time and they enter that same day. And then it gets out of hand and it creates this, overgrow effect of, plants just taking over the city.
Right, like in Sound of Thunder.
Yeah,
like the
except it actually makes sense.
Yes, of course. Well, time ripples.
As much as you can make sense out of it.
So who's going to play Little Luther in this movie?
Who would play Little Luther?
I mean, Rachel McAdams, right?
He's the brother of Luther.
Hey, she can do it.
No, what about,
Man.
Well, who would be I'm trying to think who would be
a young... up and coming, or even not even young. What about Sterling K. Brown or someone like that? Would be kind of cool.
Sterling K. Brown would actually be a really cool person.
I just want to see him in everything. I think he's great.
Emmy winner, Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
Emmy winner.
I mean, same with Mahershala Ali. I mean,
I'll
see
him
in anything.
He's more like it would have to be a little bit more action packed. I think if it was.
What are you trying to say? You saying he can't be?
No, I just feel like Sterling K. Brown is very dramatic, serious, and I think Mahershala can throw more of an action-y punch.
That's true. You want to get Mahershala in the action drama film. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
That's the one where the floor shop blows up. He's like, I gotta get my revenge.
I'm into this. All right, cool. So, L. Luther, there's your time travel story written by us. We're the experts. And write us a review on iTunes, and we will come up with a scenario for you.
Yeah.
Feel free to totally sell that to Hollywood. We won't sue you.
Yeah, but you have to cast either Sterling K. Brown or Mahershala.
Yeah.
Or we'll come after.
That said, we would like to write it, so hey, if we want to...
True.
If you would like to commission us to write your time travel story. Anyway, let's get back on track. Hyde, what movie did you pick today?
I chose Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, or as I like to call it, Homer Hickams is now Arab. If anyone's just seen October Sky starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Sure. By the way, I want to start off this conversation with saying I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I've actually had a lot of weird... I'm 100% straight man, but... I guess I'm 99% straight because I've had some weird Jake Gyllenhaal dreams.
He eased your exception?
I don't know, man.
Is he on your list?
I don't know if he's on my list. I never thought of a list, but I'm sure if I made a list, Jake Gyllenhaal would be on it.
He'd be on my list.
He's just very handsome.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have a list of, male actors, but, I mean, Ryan Reynolds has always been, my one, he's an attractive man.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking man. Blake Lively's a lucky woman.
Yeah. I do want to say, so obviously this movie, as we mentioned, stars Jake Gyllenhaal. This is his third, so he is now part of the Time Travel Trilogy Club.
That's true.
With the likes of... Who we got in there? Bruce Willis, obviously Rachel McAdams.
Yes.
I think there's some other ones. The guy from Men in Black 3, the alien guy.
Oh, yeah, Griff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in 3 movies.
Yeah. There's some that we talk about, but he's now entered the club. And this movie came out in 2010, and the synopsis says, a young fugitive prince and princess must stop a villain who unknowingly threatens to destroy the world with a special dagger that enables the magic sand inside to reverse time.
Woo!
Woo!
It's based off a really cool video game series. And they made this movie.
Was there a game that this is based off of specifically?
There's literally a game called Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which uses a mechanic in it where you can reverse time a little bit. So if you're falling or you've made a mistake in a fight, you can actually reverse time.
And I imagine there's a limit to it, but is there is there ammo for it? Like, do you have to get more sand to refill it, or is it just whenever you want to use it, you can use it?
I do believe you have to, like, there is like some sort of kind of reload, like mana type deal. Like the sand runs out,
right?
Like it recharges.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a pretty specific rule they had in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. You've seen this movie before?
Yes, I saw it when it came on. I boycotted the movie because it was also under the kind of the whitewashing controversy. Surprise, surprise! Nearly a decade later, still a problem.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of friends who were just like, Matt, you can't support this movie. So I did not see it until it was on TV. Mm-hmm. And then I saw it again last night, actually.
Yeah. I have never seen this movie before. Saw it last night for the first time and did not care for it.
Yeah, same with me. I had not seen it, but I'm currently playing an older Assassin's Creed game, which is basically the exact same thing, except you can't reverse time. So I feel like everything seemed pretty familiar to me.
Okay, well that's good. Let's just get right into the trailer.
Have you wondered how you could have found such a treasure? The gods have a plan for you, a destiny.
I've seen its power with my own eyes. Releasing the sand turns back time. Only the holder of the dagger is aware of what's happened.
How did you do that?
Only the dagger can unlock the sands of time. And there are those who would use this power to destroy the world.
Time will erase everything.
The only way to stop this Armageddon is for us to take the dagger to the secret Guardian Temple. We must take it there, Dastan.
You really enjoy telling me what to do, don't you?
Only because you're so good at following orders.
Yeah, don't press your luck. Assassins.
They strike terror into the heart of all they cross.
Such a noble prince. Leaping to assist the fallen beauty.
Who said you were a beauty?
There must be a reason why you can't take your eyes off me.
I... Find him!
The High Temple. It's guarded by some sort of demon. Dastan, where's the dagger?
You're welcome to search me for it. You'll have to be very thorough.
It's time.
We have to get out of here.
Oh my god, we gotta talk about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the movie...
First of all, this is like the end of when Disney was like, yeah, Jerry Bruckheimer, do whatever the fuck you want, who gives a shit? We're not gonna care.
Yeah, this is right before The Lone Ranger.
Like the movie was 2 hours, or 2 hours long, and that trailer also was too long.
It shows a lot, actually, that trailer.
Yeah, it shows pretty much every instance of time travel that's used in the movie, which is very minimal, which is, I think, I could probably say safely, across the board, was the biggest problem we all had with this movie, was that there was very little time travel with this cool idea of using this dagger to, travel back a few moments in time, or however long, I don't know, it's kind of vague. Like, is it a couple minutes? Is it a couple seconds? I don't know.
At most, it's a minute. That's what she said.
At most, it's a minute. But it happens like twice in the beginning of the movie, and then literally doesn't happen again until the very end of the movie.
Because they ran out. All they had was 2 uses in the dagger, apparently.
As soon as he's like, oh, there's no more sand, it's whatever, and I was just like, okay, so now we're not going to see this ever again until the end of the movie, and I'm bored. So then it was boring. It was a boring movie.
She had some in her cleavage, though.
Yeah, and they made a point to, have him, grope with his eyeballs down her chest.
To be fair, Jim Anderton pretty much... I mean, when you hire Jim Anderton in a movie, they're pretty much like, there's going to be a cleavage shot, right? Like, have you seen the poster for Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter? It is basically waist
very
cleavage. It's like
no one actually wears corsets around as like a top.
No, but I mean, look, it got me to watch Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter on Redbox.
Okay, paid $1 for it. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, like
there is another movie with her that we're gonna cover eventually called Lost in Austin. That is not her as a sex object. There's probably still a lot of cleavage, but it's different.
She doesn't need to be a sex object, but like. Let's be
very,
very, very clear here when I'm saying so people don't get. Like,
no, I'm
angry.
the one who said sex object, so it's okay.
If Chris Hemsworth is in a movie and he doesn't take his shirt off, why did you even hire him?
Yeah.
It's a terrible decision.
He even takes his shirt off in Cabin in the Woods, so there's really no excuse.
If I don't see Chris Evans' arm muscles bulge at some point in the movie, you have wasted my time.
Arm muscles bulge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wink,
wink. Wink.
And
if I see a movie with Jennifer Aniston and she does not have cleavage, why did you hire her? There are plenty of flat-chested actresses who do not have any cleavage to show. Give them a chance.
I'm surprised this wasn't, what's her name, from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
This is a little low grade for Keira
I thought she
Knightley.
looked like what's-her-face from The Mummy.
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. She also reminded me of Kelly Hu from Scorpion King, because it's pretty much the same scenario,
so
same
I suppose,
setup.
that's probably not a good thing if, like, her character in this movie reminds us of a lot of other different actresses, because that usually means she's not super unique in playing that role.
No, there's another movie where she has like a very similar role to this, that's a lot better. It's the Clash of the Titans remake with Sam Worthington. The movie itself is, at best, a C+.
Okay.
But Jennifer Aniston's much better in that film. Yeah. This one is just trying too hard to make her like the sassy
I had so many notes.
Yeah, I have a huge problem. Like, I mean, obviously the time travel is a big problem, but she was literally the only woman in this entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
That had lines. The other ones were just like a group of women that were just there.
I phrased it as she's a sassy, helpless object with boobs. That's pretty much how they portrayed her in this movie.
Who's also not... I mean, no one in this movie except, I guess you could get away with Ben Kingsley and Alfred Molina. I guess.
No.
If you needed names.
I disagree.
But no one in this movie is the right ethnicity. No one. You have a couple of African characters. By the way, the knife fight with the African character is actually one of the best scenes of the movie.
He should have been a much bigger part in this movie, for sure. He was cool.
Like, that scene's actually really cool.
Yeah.
And then he's dead. And you're like, what?
Fuck off.
And what was shocking to me, too, is that everyone had a British accent.
Oh my god, wait, no, I'm
Why?
sorry, thank you. We have to talk about Jake Gyllenhaal being British in this movie for literally no reason.
Right.
He's not British. We know he's not British. He's
Persia.
a big enough actor that we know normally he's not British, so it's too distracting. I don't understand why that was a choice.
Here's what I decided what happened is, they're like,
What
okay,
did you decide happened?
what year is this set in? I don't know, the past. Okay, in the past, everyone has British accents, right? Sure, okay. Well, what is Jake Gyllenhaal? He's an orphan. Okay, give him a Cockney accent. Boom, done. Everyone's British except for the people that are poor.
Okay,
they have Cockney accents.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's, we want Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley's British. Everyone has to be British. I think that was probably the most thought that went into it. It's honestly like, it would be more forgiving if, like, just give Jake Gyllenhaal his normal American accent.
Yeah, who cares? We know they're not going to speak like the native tongue of Persia at the time.
Like Ben Kingsley and Gemma Arterton are actually British, so that's different.
Right.
We got to talk about Ben Kingsley because why on earth did he do this movie?
This is the second Ben Kingsley movie that he's been in with time travel.
What was his other one?
Sound of Thunder.
Oh, he was in Sound of Thunder.
Look, if he did Sound of Thunder,
step up from Sound of Thunder.
Yeah, Sound of Thunder.
I mean,
he did that movie.
Maybe a
this
step
is at least
sideways.
Disney.
I wouldn't say it's a step up necessarily. Yeah, at least it's Disney. He probably got a bigger paycheck, that's for sure. But like, at least in Sound of Thunder, he was like comically ridiculous.
Well, you could tell he was like having fun playing this stupid part.
Right. This one's like, hey, look, we got these big names in this movie. Pretend it's not bad. It's bad. I have to tell you, if you haven't seen this movie, it's not a good movie. I'm sorry. No. It's
the
too
video
long.
game, you're much better.
Long.
You know what you are much better of doing? If you really want to see the Sands of Time story played out, go on YouTube and find Prince of Persia Sands of Time, the video game movie, and just watch someone else play the video game for 2 hours, and you will have a much better experience.
That's probably true. Yeah. Pretty much anything is better than this. I didn't mind Alfred Molina.
No,
I will
good.
Say.
He's good.
He was good enough.
He was funny, and his character's interesting.
Yeah.
And I like that his character is kind of like a villain, but also not, and that he can be reasoned with. Like, there's...
Yeah, I mean, he's selfish, but at least his accent makes sense. If he's this, like, sleazy dude, yeah, give him a Cockney accent, sure. But not the lead of your movie.
Yeah, why? Why? Oh, God, this movie.
And I swear at some point it, like, dropped. Or, like, he was doing a regular British accent by the end or something like that. I don't know. It just...
As he became more regal.
Yeah.
And I love, like, again, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I think Jake Gyllenhaal, the last 3 years, has been screwed out of an Oscar nomination. He did Prisoners, Nightcrawler, and Nocturnal Animals.
Oh, yeah.
He might get one for this new one he's doing.
We were just I can't remember the name of it. Is this one where he's in the wheelchair?
Yeah, we just
Stranger?
I don't know.
Stronger.
Stronger.
Yeah, we just saw the trailer for it
Yeah, we were
earlier.
just watching the trailer.
I feel like he's gotten such a short end of the stick. Though I was talking with our friend Michael, and he was telling me that it maybe Prince of Persia is like what kept him out of like the elite club for a while. They're like, you did Prince of Persia.
This was his downfall.
They're like you have to suffer in giving great performances for years without getting recognition.
But I think he just gets better with time. He's like a fine wine.
Yes, he is.
He sure is. Because like comparing him in this movie was horrible, but comparing him in this movie versus even something like Donnie Darko, which like it's a better movie, but that's because it's a stronger script. Like his acting. Yeah, this movie's but his acting, I think, is like, it just continues to get better from these things we've seen. Like, Source Code, though, I think is definitely much better than this. But
way better.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about the magic sand dagger of time.
Yeah.
This is actually cool. The magic sand dagger is cool.
I do agree. I was like, I was actually into that movie for like 3 minutes when it was like the dagger scene.
Like, Gaston, take the dagger.
Yeah, the first 2 times they use it.
That was cool.
Yeah, for like the first half of the movie, it's like, oh, there it is. And like, all right, well, that was it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of explanation that we hear from Tamina, I think her name is, about kind of what's Tamina, about everything that the dagger does. We have a clip here of after Dastan.
See, the reason why I have trouble with his name is because in Stardust, which is not a time travel movie, I wish, his name is like Dustan or something. It's very similar. Like it might even just be Dustin, but for some reason it's like or Dunstan, that's what it is.
Okay.
Tristan, Dunstan.
Tristan, yeah.
There is a Dunstan, I think is his dad. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling now. But
it's
like, it's a weird, I don't know, for some reason I have trouble with this name, Dastan.
Yeah, but this is him after he did it like the first or second time, I think.
Again! You've used up all the sand!
What? What is this? Incredible. Releasing the sand turns back time. And only the holder of the dagger is aware of what's happened. He could go back and alter events, change time. But no one knows but him. How much can it unwind? Answer me, princess.
You destroyed my city.
That's pretty much all we really ever hear about it.
There is more because she explains it because he's like, I need to know more, and she tells him about this whole history of it.
Yeah.
She says like, you can only do in a minute because that's how much the thing can change. So I think the first time he did it, he let go of the button, so he stopped it then, and then when he did it again, he held it down and then it ran out. Right. So you only can go out, so it could be more, it could be however many times you use up the minute, basically.
Okay.
But she explains it if you want me to get really detailed into how it all works.
Just give us a basic overview.
All right.
The sands of time.
So back in the day, before this movie started,
when Jesus was born,
probably before that, I don't know. But basically, the gods are mad at humans, and so they sent down the sandstorm to wipe the whole planet clean. And this little girl was like, "No, give us a chance." And so the gods were like, "All right, sure." And so they put the sand from the sandstorm into this like sand glass crystal, and gave her a dagger. Like, for some reason, and then you put the sand in the dagger and you go back in time. I don't know why they would do that. Why would the gods give humans the power that can destroy the world, and then if they do it wrong, it will destroy the world? I guess if they are bad enough?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like, we're wanting to kill you. Now we'll give you a chance to do well, but if this falls into the wrong hands, then you do it for us.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's like God flooding the earth, and then giving Noah
like a cork, and he has like the thing that can remove the cork.
Right. He's like,
Yeah.
it's like you want to flood all the animals.
Yeah.
It's in your hands now. But yeah, so that's the idea of it, pretty
Okay.
much.
Yeah, my biggest distracting plot hole I had with this movie was when Ben Kingsley's character...
Nassim?
I have no idea what
Nazim or something.
Nassim,
yeah.
When his character is like has the dagger and he's going to use it for evil to kill his brother all the way back when, why can't they just destroy the dagger? Wouldn't that have solved their... Yes, they wouldn't have been able to travel in time, but couldn't they just destroy it and then no one could use it?
Yeah,
the
idea is like, this thing is so powerful, no one should have this power,
So
no
then-
one should be able to use it. Well, then destroy it.
So then destroy it. Yeah, that was my
I wonder
thought
if you
process.
can. It would be interesting if they had tried and like you couldn't.
Yeah, they should have tried. Or she
Yeah.
should have said you can't or something like that.
Yeah.
I think in the game, like the dagger can't be destroyed. Like there's something about it. Like the blade can't be broken. Like it's like a special kind of dagger.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
I mean I wish they would have just said that. Like, people have tried to destroy this before to remove the temptation, but
Yeah.
it's unbreakable or whatever. So, okay, fun fact, this movie won a Guinness World Record for most expensive film inspired by a video game in 2010. I don't think that's true anymore, but in 2010 it was true.
Which movie would be more expensive?
I mean, maybe Assassin's Creed. I don't know. That's pretty high budget. I don't know. I mean, since
Yeah.
2010.
I don't know. I just think ones from more recent times probably cost more money than this movie. But this movie probably costs a lot of money.
It costs
too.
a lot. Like, it was over $100 million budget.
200.
200 million. Probably with the marketing, 200 million.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So the time travel, there's this magic sand and it's hard to come by, apparently.
Yeah. It's
And
just
it has to be in the handle of the dagger
right.
in order to work.
Yeah, there is another thing, too, is when you... So in order to actually use it, you have to hit the button, you have to press the button, and when you put the dagger into the sand glass, that's when, like, it starts to, like, release all of the sand and, like, you know...
Destroy the world.
Yeah, the deal is, when that happens, the sandstorm is released and it starts to destroy the world, but why does that matter if the person that's doing it's going to go back in time anyways before they did it? So the whole thing of destroying the world doesn't matter because it won't, because you're going back in time.
Also, yes, but also, when it gets to that point at the end of the movie, when he and Ben Kingsley are fighting over, like, trying to get it in or out of the thing,
Yeah.
how does it know when to go in time?
I think he closes it and presses the button.
Right,
that's
but-
when he actually does move back in time.
No, but I mean, like, how does it know how far back to take him? Or
I think
where to go?
I assume he held it down as long as he needed to.
I think
To
you
get
just
to the
keep
beginning
holding
of
it
the
down.
movie.
It gives you a minute.
So,
Right, because there's
is that what-
infinite
what-
sand that he has access
so that's
to.
what Ben Kingsley was intending to do?
Yeah, he was going to do that, hold it down, and go back in time to his child self.
And then would he have gone forward in time again, or would
No,
he have had to live
he would
as
have-
a child
he would have had to
all
live
over again?
Yeah, and I think because I think if he didn't have to relive his life, then why would he do this if he already has the king? If he
Well,
already
he
killed,
would-
you know what I mean?
Well, he would go back, kill the king before he was the king, and then just go back forward to his present day, and he would have already been king.
Yeah, in like some 13 going on 30 situation, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think...
Which also has magic sand.
Yeah.
Magic
Yeah,
sand.
magic
Good
sand.
call.
But yeah, no, I think the idea is you re-enter your body at that point. I don't think you go back to the present. I think you stay in the past. Because, like, the way we see Jake Gyllenhaal do it is he
Yeah.
flies through the air and lands back in his body.
Yeah, and in the
Yeah.
game as well, you just go back in time. You have to relive. So if you're like falling off a ledge and you hit the button, you go back to before you fell off the ledge. You still have to like make the choice again. Like you don't go
Yeah.
back to.
Well, that's
where it
cool.
was.
I just think, like, Ben Kingsley probably his character didn't think through that was a consequence of having to do this.
I mean, I guess for him, it's like having a whole life as a king instead of having his last half of life as a king, you know, which he would have had at
yeah.
you know, had he not come back
Which
in time.
was, yeah,
or try to
and
go
that
back
was
in
like
time.
his intent, but it's also like he was like 10 years old. Who wants to be like go through and be a teenager again? Oy,
Yeah.
go through all of that. Oh man. Anyway, okay. So what are the rules?
I think you kind of.
We kinda
I
covered
mean,
the rules.
yeah, limited amount, and you go back in time as long as you press the button. Other than that,
Of your own time stream.
yeah,
Yeah.
and because you can even die. Like, there was a moment where he killed himself with the dagger, and his brother like believed him, and then pressed the button, and he was alive again.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, it is like a, yeah,
Yeah, and So when you use the dagger and you go back in time, it splits off and creates a new timeline. Right?
We're not led to believe that. I think it's one timeline.
It's just erases what you've done.
Rewind.
Oh, it just redoes it.
Yeah,
it's
there's
not an alternate timeline?
Yeah, there's no evidence that that's the case, but who knows? The whole idea of having this looming threat of a sandstorm that would destroy the Earth, it wouldn't make sense unless there was, like, the future
only
where...
one timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But, again, hey, this movie isn't perfect, so...
Yeah, there's also too many villains. I felt like there's too many bad people trying to get them at different times, and it was kind of confusing.
Yeah, and they're all kind of like wearing like the same garb and all that jazz.
And I didn't know anyone's name, really, honestly, except for the two main people.
I have no idea what his brothers' names were at all.
It's like Gavis?
Tuss, I think.
I literally couldn't even tell you
Tuss
anything.
Tuss was one of his brothers.
Garciv?
Garciv? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even know King Shahraman. I guess that sounds familiar, but... No idea.
It was... and, like, maybe that's what it is in the video game, but it was kind of hard
to follow. The video game's different, though, because the video game, it doesn't really matter in, like, that kind of platformer game. Like, you're just trying to win the advance. Like, I mean, obviously the story's very important in Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, but if you skipped all the cutscenes, you still would pretty much know what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the whole movie, my problem with the movie is right from the start, I just didn't really care about the whole world that they're building. I was like, alright, okay, yeah, orphan, people, brothers, you know.
I agree.
This movie was just so many dudes and
really
one woman.
Boring.
Yeah.
It was very boring. I will say, I did like how they shot the action scenes.
Yeah.
Because it was actually much easier to follow than a lot of other action movies because they didn't use a handheld camera.
Yeah, they didn't use a shaky cam.
Yeah, you could actually like follow and see the moves they were making and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it would slow down and kind of pan across. Like the beginning, like not the beginning scene, but when they're storming the castle, like it zooms out a lot, shows the armies coming at it and all stuff. So
it's cool.
You get the scale of it.
Mm-hmm. Are there consequences to using the dagger? Not really. It's just kind of
other than the looming sandstorm.
Yeah, the looming sandstorm, and you change.
And you lose the sand if you use it.
Yeah, to the traveler, none at all. Like, it will save your life. It won't cause any bad problems. But to the people that you're using it against, like if you're a villain, it'll affect them. But like the actual use of time travel, it's safe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically, if you did something bad, you'd have to live with the knowledge. Because if if you did something or if you prevented something or whatever, and you were the only one that knew.
That's not this kind of movie. They're not really like...
No, it's not. But, like, technically that is
mental anguish.
Yeah.
Like, this whole movie, my question is why? Because at the end of the movie, nothing happened. Like, he reset time all the way back to when he stole a dagger and was like, here's your dagger back. And, like she has no idea what happened. I doubt he'll tell her the whole story about that. I mean, maybe he will. But, like, the whole movie was just erased. So, like...
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It was kind of like... It got to the point, too, that I wasn't surprised, because everyone died that he knew, except for her. And so, then she dies at the end, too. So, like, literally everyone he knows
she falls
is dead.
off,
Yeah. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is exactly how a Disney movie would play out with this.
It's like, everything's terrible, but wait!
Well,
no,
rewind
it's
it so nothing bad happens. Yeah. It's kind of lame. And then it's just like, they all obviously turn on Ben Kingsley, and then that's the end of the movie, and they end up together. Yawn.
Yay. You know, and the sad thing is, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time and Prince of Persia could have been a good movie. But the problems were, one, white cast. Mm-hmm. Like, it just...
a lot of white Persian dudes.
Which just got... Like, I get it. They were like, well, this will get people to view it more. But honestly, could you imagine, even if not every actor was necessarily Persian, okay, but every actor was, like, from that part of the world, could you imagine, like, how big it would have been with that community? For my example I like to go to is that movie, Egypt, Gods and Kings, that came out. Mm-hmm. And it flopped. But I guarantee you that movie would have been a runway success if it had been an all-star black cast. Like, that movie would have been... Everyone would have gone to see that movie. It's kind of like it would be doing whatever Black Panther's about to do.
Yeah.
Because everyone been like, "Yo, we got to go support this movie."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it would also be like a minority action movie, as opposed to like
which they're so
Tyler Perry movies aren't action movies. You know, they're like
they
don't get to have a grand classic Avengers.
Yeah, that's true. It's
It would have had you would have actually forgiven a lot of story problems because it was like, well, this is like the first time ever that these actors are going to do this kind of story. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that.
Nope. And we're stuck with this $200 million piece of garbage. And
scientific
or to magic sand, does that exist somewhere? It could. We don't know.
Well, first of all, this movie has gods, which that's a whole other discussion. And magical sandstorms that will destroy the world, and all this other stuff. So yeah, there's science is the last thing on the mind of anyone in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. The time travel is somewhat relevant to the story. I will not say it's the most relevant to the story.
Yeah, it's not as relevant as you think until the end.
Yeah, for a movie that's literally called The Sands of Time.
Time travel wiped the entire story, so technically, yeah, in that sense, it does play a part.
Yeah, but it's not utilized nearly as much as it could have been, even just for the sake of having a couple more cool scenes.
Give us some more action scenes.
We don't need to go an hour and a half between seeing the use of the time travel.
He literally... There's no battle with it. He, did it once accidentally, got sliced in the chest, used it, and then saved the guy by killing snakes quicker, and then he had his brother do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no battle sequences or fight sequences that use it.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes no sense, because that's, what made... Prince of Persia: Sands of Time video game is, a classic. It's considered one of the best video games ever created.
Yeah.
It's why would you take away the best part of the video game? It's everyone in Hollywood. There's all these articles why did they make video game based movies, and why are they never successful? And it's the very few video game movies that are successful take the best part of the video games. Basically, a video game movie should be what would happen if all those cutscenes that I work really hard to get were just the movie? I didn't even have to play the game.
Yeah.
But no one does that. They always try to make it weird. They make some weird spin on it. I mean, if you look at the most successful ones, Tomb Raider is probably the most successful video game movie in terms of critical and financial success blending together. Mm-hmm. And it's just a fun movie. It's basically a sexy Indiana Jones. Well, Harrison Ford is very sexy as well. But you know what I mean.
That's another discussion.
It's it's like a female sexed up version of Indiana Jones with more magic thrown in.
Yeah.
It's... it works because of that. Even hokey movies like Mortal Kombat were successful. By the way, Roger Ebert gave Mortal Kombat, the first one, a thumbs up.
I love the first one. The first one was awesome.
Right. And it's because it knows what it is. It's having fun with it. And it's what do the people who want to watch a Mortal Kombat movie want to see? Yeah. People fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give them a tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they should have just used, like you said, what do people like about this video game? Okay, let's do that. Not... oh, well, what if we do this with this story and make it an action drama that no one gives a shit about? Yeah.
I should be seeing Jake Gyllenhaal, fighting everyone, in this weird, blend of, fast forward and rewinding.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird, the moments that sometimes he would be really good at fighting and other times he would just kind of, give up right away. And I didn't really understand. It felt like sometimes if he was, surrounded, he wouldn't even try and he would just kind of sit there with his arms up. But where other times he, personally invades her entire castle.
Right.
And so it just kind of felt not consistent to me.
Yeah, I think the problem with video game movies nowadays is that the games themselves are so cinematic that something like the new Tomb Raider, it's going to look just like the game because the new Tomb Raider is basically a movie.
Yes, that's true.
And even the action scenes in the game are cinematic because it's QuickTime events. Mm-hmm. So then the trailer, it looks just like the game because that's the game is made to be cinematic. So I'm I don't know. I'm not going to say the movie's going to fail, but I'm just just play the game. It looks the exact same.
The game's really fun. It's a great story.
Yeah.
It's a story you get to be involved in.
And plus, in the trailer, she already has two guns. In the games, you had to earn it. But, in the trailer, she's I have two guns. It's no, you earned that in the game.
I think they did that because I think they were afraid people were going to be they were afraid people were going to be oh, no. She doesn't have two guns. This isn't the Tomb Raider. I know because a lot of people who played the old Tomb Raider have not played the new.
I know that is true. Yeah,
so they have to assure the fans.
Yeah, it's also I don't know. I've played a little bit of Tomb Raider. I definitely haven't played the first one. Not the first one. The new one. Yeah. But yeah, I guess just from a basic standpoint, it's an action movie, and I would expect to see her with guns or some sort of a weapon
right,
on
yeah.
the poster at the end of the day. It's not a video game, it's a movie.
It's so sad because after this movie came out, Prince of Persia pretty much died as a franchise, as a video game.
That's true, yeah.
And then it got replaced by Assassin's Creed, which has also been made into a movie, which has not killed the franchise, but the franchise has been dying by its own hand for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that franchise is that it comes out, it used to come out every year. Although I am looking forward to the new one, because it's like set in Egypt, but it looks like it's going to be more of an RPG, which I'm all about. Anyways,
yes.
Different podcast.
But no, it's true. It's. I just don't understand why this movie was as poorly executed as it was.
Because it did feel like they tried to make it such a thing. I mean, they spent $200 million trying to make this movie. It feels like they wanted to make it into some sort of a franchise.
Right. And there's other Prince of Persia stories they could have done.
Yeah. Anyway, closing sets. How'd you guys feel about it? It was fine for what it is, I guess.
I mean, like this is it's set in like Alamet, which is Iran, which is like a beautiful country. So like, yeah, some of those like it wasn't just desert. You got some of the mountains. You got some of the snow that Iran has. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The sets were pretty decent. The clothes were a little like okay, but pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Like, nothing spectacular, but nothing bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Would you guys want to experience this time travel with the magic dagger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely. There's no consequences. You can't go. I mean, I guess you could technically go if you use the whole thing, but like, yeah, it's only a minute, but I mean, a lot can happen in a minute.
Yeah. If I had a way to like get more sand, know. Like I mean, even like in her cleavage, there's only like 2 more uses. So like, I'd want a bigger
her cleavage sand.
Yeah, her cleavage stash.
When you've got cleavage, sometimes sand gets stuck in it. I understand.
Yeah, they were in a sandstorm in the desert. So
yeah, that's
up
funny.
in that crack.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just remember there was one thing that happened. They mentioned this. It wasn't really anything in the movie, but the Hassansins, the assassins. That the villains, they can apparently see visions of the future, which I guess that would tell them where to go, but like
what?
Yeah, they mentioned they're like we could see visions of the future, and so it like showed
completely abandoned it.
Yeah, and like, I was like, okay, cool. What does that have to do with anything? So that's another layer of
that is very random
thing. Yeah, they mentioned it once.
Yeah. What other notes did you guys have? I thought the
suicidal ostrich, I guess.
Suicidal ostriches. I thought the poison robe was kind of weird. Why was it such a delay of him putting it on before it actually started to burn him?
I guess had to go through his clothes, maybe?
But it felt like, like Ben Kingsley's hands were burned just from touching it. It felt like it probably should have happened as soon as he put it on.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was a weird delay with that. That's nitpicky.
For drama.
But yeah.
Yeah, one thing that was very strange to me about this movie is the action scenes are okay. They're pretty well done. They're well shot, as you were talking about. Mm-hmm. But they also come at weird points.
Yeah. I think the movie just is paced weird.
It's really paced oddly.
What it is?
Yeah, like it just doesn't... Like you said, kind of what you hinted at. Like sometimes he'll do like this big fight and then sometimes he'll just give up. Mm-hmm. It seemed like a lot of repetition, which in a video game is fine, but in a movie is not. Like, he storms a castle, then he, like, gets, like, surrounded, then he escapes. Then
run through a city a few times.
Yeah.
I agree. I felt like I didn't always know what his purpose was of where he was going or what he was doing through most of the movie.
I think this was during that time of the period of time, like, when also Casino Royale came out, and, like, parkour was really big.
Yeah.
You know? So they were just like, let's do parkour.
That's true. Parkour was big in 2010. That's fair.
Wherever we can do it.
I mean, at least it's relevant in this game because that's the whole character. He can, do like a wall run and jump up stuff. But yeah, it was very much shot like, oh yeah, here's a kid doing parkour and here's Jake Gyllenhaal doing it.
Do have to mention that this movie did not pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, she was literally the only woman in the movie.
That had lines.
That had lines. There were other women in there who literally stood around, said nothing, in minimal clothing.
Yes.
Yeah, there was the group of women that were in the building that like looked at him or his brother, and then there was women that Tamina ran out with during the ostrich race. Like literally, no other woman said a single word.
Yeah, just why? I just don't understand why. Is she the only woman in this entire country that is of any purpose? Because she's a princess. is that like the only reason why she even like has lines? Because there has to be a romantic relationship between the two leads. I wouldn't even call her a lead, really. He's the lead. She's the side piece.
She's just there to entice young dudes to be like, oh yeah, there's a hot chick in it. Cool.
Yeah.
There's literally, I mean, man, Aladdin, the Disney cartoon, has more like lines for the female characters.
Yeah.
Even though it's a brothel. That's right. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah. That's why they don't like him, because he doesn't give them money.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is definitely too long. It should have been an hour and a half tops, for sure. But I also, the thing with casting Ben Kingsley as the villain and trying to keep it a secret that he is actually the villain
right.
is kind of a lost cause to me. Maybe to like younger audiences, they wouldn't have seen that coming, but I'm just like,
it's Ben Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley, like, obviously he's gonna have something to do other than just be the uncle that Destin talks to. Like, no, he's the bad guy, obviously.
He's gonna have a big role. He's
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley. It's like an episode of Law and Order SVU or like a big guest star comes on. You're like, well, they're gonna have more than one scene in this episode.
Like Stephen Colbert. He's like, oh, he's not just an unassuming handwriting expert. He actually was the villain or whatever.
They should have made him more of a Jafar, to use your Aladdin reference. They should have made him more of a Jafar of like an uncle, but an uncle who's obviously shady.
Right.
Like, don't pretend that he's a cool guy. Like, he's shady. Let him be shady. Who are you trying to fool?
Right, like just like let us in fact let Ben Kingsley chew up scenery, just like plotting his evil plans. Like,
that would have been cool.
He does not know that I am the villain.
Twirl his mustache.
Twirl his mustache, and soon I will control all the sand cleavage in Persia.
and they could even like play it up.
Sorry. Is sand cleavage the porn version of this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Or what did you say earlier? Up the crack or something?
Right in the crack.
Right in the crack.
Yeah, Prince of Persia, the Sands of Cleavage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was saying like...
for the cleavage.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, I mean, even like playing up the aspect of them being both brothers of like kings or potential kings, and then one not one in the power, and one in the power. They could have had like some more drama, but
yeah, there should have only been one other brother. There didn't need to be two other brothers because I think that was a big downfall because they could have had a much more interesting relationship of him with the brother, and then maybe that's also like I would believe that that's also why the king wanted to, you know, quote unquote, adopt this other son so that his son had another brother because he had a brother and so he needs a brother to connect with.
Exactly.
Why was that not something that this movie did? That's so easy. There's
no
reason to have two brothers. They had no personality, either of them. So what would the difference be?
And also, there's a scene where like Tamina asks like, wait, so why did the king adopt you? And Dastan was like, I don't know, he just did.
He was like, he saw me in the street, whatever, and took me into
impressed by my courage.
Yeah. Oy. Well, this movie.
Yep.
Anything else you guys have that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not much time travel stuff, so, like, he just went back in time a few times and then reset the whole movie, so.
Yeah. But it did, we talked about Tomb Raider earlier, but it did actually spark the memory that there is actually time travel in the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie, so we will be doing that one down the road. So, that is something good that came out of watching this movie, if nothing else. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that movie, and I think Hyde is too. Mm-hmm. So we'll do that in the future. Yeah. But I guess we'll do final reviews for this guy.
Why not?
Prince of Persia. All right. Who wants to start? Matt, you want to start?
Sure. So the movie, there isn't that many things that redeem it, other than just Jake being Jake and there being action. I mean, I don't know. There isn't many things there, so I don't know. 2.5?
Yeah. I am going to go a little bit lower and go with a 2 out of 10. I was bored through a lot of this movie. It was way too long. The quote-unquote plot twist of Ben Kingsley being the bad guy was way too obvious to be interesting, and just Jake Gyllenhaal's hair and his accent was so distracting that I really never got fully into this movie. Give him a fucking haircut. There's no reason his hair has to be that long. Anyway, so 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll be a little more generous too, just because man, I've seen so many clunkers during this show. I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you know. I'll give it a 3
We've
out of 10.
also seen some good movies in our defense.
Seen some great movies.
Yeah.
This one is not horrible.
No, we have done a few bad movies in a row, though.
I mean, yeah, this one is definitely it's definitely boring.
This is the third, like, genuinely not good movie we've done in a row. But Time at the Top wasn't that bad. So.
Yeah, Time at the Top was...
It was entertaining, at least.
Yeah,
Time at the Top at least had some moments.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was a boring movie, but it was entertaining discussion.
Entertainment discussion of Time at the Top. This movie is just like, I mean, this is one of our shorter episodes we've done in like a while, and I think that speaks to just how boring and unmemorable this film is.
Yeah.
So, but I'll give it a 3 just because there is some polish to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been worse, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, after having just seen Ninja Turtles 3,
this
at least looks more better.
Oy.
Well, looks better, obviously.
Yeah, that was rough. Time travel rating?
I don't know. They didn't break their own rules, I guess, but the rules are all just made up and it's magic and...
No, you hate when it's magic.
I don't hate it, but I'm just like...
I kind of hate it.
It's just someone just made it up, you know? And obviously it's from a video game and you have to kind of have some mechanic. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. It's there a few times, so... No, not even that. Because they reset the whole movie. So a 1 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, they did reset the whole movie.
At the end of the movie... No one has actually time traveled because at the beginning he gets back to where he time traveled, or before he did that.
That's actually a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so enough things happen. So technically, would there be sand back in the thing?
No, because that's the only thing that gets carried through the use of the sand.
His memory and that.
And the sand chamber, because when he uses it the second time, she's like, "You used it all up." She looks at it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
now.
Otherwise it would be infinite, which actually kind of would be more interesting. But okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it time travel a 1.5 out of 10. Just because I don't have a problem when it's magic time travel, as long as there's some sort of a rules a little bit for us to go off of. Like 13 going on 30, we kind of harp on a lot, but it's just literally magic dust. It's magic wishing dust. And at least this movie, it's like, it's an object, it's something that's used more than once. It does have a little bit of a backstory about where it came from. There are some rules. Very lack of consequences, but that's okay. So yeah, 1.5. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
I mean that's bad, but it's
it's not as bad.
It's not as 0.5. I think is the worst we've ever given.
Yeah.
I think 0.5 is the worst. Even Sound of Thunder got a 1.
Yeah.
So this is a 1.5 for me as well because it's. Yeah, I'm with you. Pretty much echoing everything you said, Jen. I would add the caveat. It's a cool concept.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so disappointing that they don't do anything with it. They could have really done a lot with this concept, but they don't do anything. So, like, the 0.5 is, like, the fact that, like, yeah, when it happens, it's kind of cool. It also isn't at the same time. So, yeah.
No, I agree. It is a cool idea. Which is, that's why it's hard to watch it.
I know, and I was definitely at 1.5 before, but I was like, you know what? No. They reset the whole movie.
You do you, man.
So that's why I was like, you know what? Get down there.
Your judgment is fair.
Yeah. You're the science expert. Okay, so our next episode, Matt's Choice. What'd you pick?
Yeah, so this one, I never really heard about it until we're researching movies to do for this podcast, but I'm interested in it. It's called Slipstream. It's from 2005, and it stars Sean Astin. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know much about it, other than what the summary is.
Yeah, a scientist plots a bank robbery based around his newest invention, a time travel gadget that will send its user 10 minutes into the past. So that's kind of cool. I've never seen this movie either. I don't think you have either.
Nope, never seen this.
Vinnie Jones is also in this movie, so I'm in for that. And
apparently, I mean, it sounds like a pretty similar like mechanism to this movie. Except it's 10 minutes, you know, and it seems like it's unlimited.
And it also seems more sciencey, I think.
Right, yeah.
Less magic, more science. I'm interested. This is a movie that if I would have seen it, I probably would have watched it if I had come across it somewhere, because I really am interested in heist movies and stuff, and definitely time travel.
Yeah, and we got Rudy going on here, so.
Sure, yeah. Cool, so I think... I mean, I don't think this is going to be a groundbreaking film because we've never heard of it. Yeah. But I think it could be fun. It could be like another fun movie that, like Triangle, that we all kind of really liked that no one had really ever heard of, but was kind of cool. So we'll see how it goes. It's directed by David Van Eason. Trying to see if he's done anything else. Looks like maybe just some short films. Looks like this is like his big project, perhaps. So, cool. All right. That's that. Social media, we are at Time Travel Trio on Twitter and on Instagram. If you'd like to follow us, we're also on Facebook at the Time Travel Trio Podcast. We are, of course, on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Please rate, subscribe, follow us on all of those. And as we mentioned at the top of the episode, if you rate us on iTunes, we will come up with some sort of a ridiculous time travel story for you, and would super appreciate that. Yeah, woohoo.
Yes.
Personal, I am at Jem Marlis at Twitter and Instagram.
I am at Foreman in Space on those.
And I'm at Robinson is Hyde.
And
with that,
we are out of
time.